Okay. Okay guys, so we're over at the press. I want to show you because what I did is I printed out 2 sets of separations, but I only burnt the one set of films that the one set of screens that I am gonna use for the job. But I want to explain this to you so that you understand how important it is when you are a screen printer, what separates a mediocre screen printer from a master printer, okay? And kind of show you all of that and tell you why you need to be able to do your own separations, or at least have someone in your business or somebody that you can go to that does separations. Now, I do separations also, so if you need separations, make sure you go over to latonna.com. Let's get on to the video. So what we have here, we had a design, and on that design, if you'll recall, the design is blue, red, and white, or red, white, and blue. And I'm going to show you how most screen printers that are new to the business, how they would separate the screen this for a job. Most printers would come in and lay a solid white base, and then they would start putting their colors on top of that solid white base. They do a solid white base because in screen printing you're taught pretty much to print from light to dark. So most people would do a solid white base on that shirt. They come up above that with that red print, okay? And then after the red print, you top it off with your blue. And then you would have the red, white, and blue design. The problem with doing that with this design, there's a couple of problems actually. The first thing that you have to take into account is that you're printing on a gray shirt. This is going to be a sports gray shirt, so for one thing, the first thing that we don't want to do is we don't want to put a heavy underbase on that shirt. We very rarely underbase a navy blue, okay? If you're doing, you can always use an opaque navy. If you're doing a black shirt, then you could underbase your navy, but you want to do a half-tone underbase and use a very high mesh screen, like not very, but like a 195 would give you a nice base to do that on, and you'd still have a nice soft shirt. Because if this is 2021, it's all about nice soft shirts, okay? So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to X out this underbase, because you're not going to need to do an underbase. So now if you X out that underbase, you could do the white on top. So we do, or on bottom, sorry, on bottom. So we do our white as the base, and then you would do your red as the top, on top of your white, and then come over that and seal that with your blue. Now, the problem that you're going to have with that, and let me kind of turn my screens backwards. Well, I think you can see it from the front or back. You're going to see that even though I have these screens even, you can still see some alignment issues. If you see alignment issues when you're printing your films, you best doggone believe that you're going to have problems when you get to the press. The problem with this design is that if you did this one base, and let me back up, because if you did this as a 3-color design and you did print this underbase, you would have to print this underbase 2 times in order to use 3 screens, and then put that red and that blue on top of it. When you go to press, you're going to be slowed down. One, you're going to have a really thick print. So when you go to flash that white, you're going to print the white, flash the white, print the white, flash the white. It's going to be hot. It's going to slow down the press. When you go to hit that red or that blue on top of it, it's going to be a mess. You're going to see little speckles and things like that. Could get ink in your screen, all that type of dried up ink in your screen, all that type of stuff. So that's why we're going to stay away from this on this job. So if you're doing the same thing here with this white screen, if you did a white underbase here, you use this as the white base and then print it 2 times. You print it, flash it, print it, and then come over it with your other colors. The problem that you're going to have, and let me try to bring my images in a little bit closer to you. The problem that you're going to have is going to be an alignment issue. So the thing with this is the perfect design for you to learn about chokes, yokes, spreads, and gutters, okay, and reverse print orders. So with this design, if you're just printing and not using what we call a spread or a choke, a spread is when you would take this, let's say the Texas, you take that, put a half a point outline on it, okay, and that would spread it. If you wanted to choke it, you would put a half a point outline on it, but revert that to white, and that would choke it and bring that design in. The reason you want to choke or spread a design is because sometimes if you're laying that bottom design, you would want to choke it. Most of the time you'd want to choke that bottom, or you could just leave that bottom white and then start spreading so one color lays on top of the other where you don't have any type of registration issues. The main problem with printing this job and printing it as traditionally as we would is that we have some very, very fine, some little bitty letters here, okay? And this is the white screen. So when we print this white screen, we go over this white screen with our blue. And let me just set that up. You go over that white screen with that blue, and you'd have very little wiggle room. So one thing that you could do, textbook, you're supposed to spread this bottom piece, okay? Make that white bigger so that when you go over it and print the blue on top of it, you'll still see the white. The problem with that is that when you're printing, you have what's called dot gain or a little spread from the ink. So when you're printing this design and you print the white and then you print the blue, you still get a little spread. So either way you can do it, textbook way, but there's a better way. And let's go ahead and roll those screens away and get to the screens that we're going to use for the actual job. So today what we're going to do is we're going to learn about spreads and gutters and all of that stuff. So what we have here, we're going to print this job in 3 colors instead of 4 because, like I said, it's on a gray shirt and we don't really need to use a lot of white, right? To have a real thick white. Let me see what we have here. This is our red screen, our blue screen, and our white screen. Now, I'm not sure how this is going to go, but it may go, as I told you, I'm going to do the first print with the white on the bottom textbook, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to do the print with it on top, with the white on the top. Yes, white on top. Okay? So what we're going to do, what I did with this artwork is we put a spread on our white base, which is this one. Sorry guys. So I spread this. And the spread is just to make it the white just a little bit bigger so it overlaps the other colors. Just a little bit. You won't even notice it in the design. Okay? And we're going to we may end up reversing the print order, which is probably what I'll do, because when you're printing this blue, instead of printing the white first, we may just print this blue and print the white on top of the blue. Okay? So that's probably going to be our print order. We'll see. I'll do it both ways, and I'll let you guys see which way it comes out, and I'll let you be the judge of it. Screen printing is all about trial and error and trying to get the best print that you can get at the fastest way on press to speed up your production. If we had not, you have to either choke or spread if on the letters also, because if you print this with a butt-on-butt registration and your registration is off, you see those letters won't line up perfectly. So that's why we did earlier when I was showing you guys on the computer computer. That's why we did it like that. So let's go ahead and set up the screens and get this job going.
All right, dude.